The movie I decided to do, Fruitvale Station. It was a movie about a fatal shooting that occurred in Oakland, California, of an Oscar grant. Now, after watching the movie and doing a little dirt, trying to compare it to different sources, I found a few key changes that the director Ryan Coogler has made. The biggest event that was added was the dog scene, which was very sad and was just Oscar minding his own business, and then he notices a dog, um, pets the dog, and they get all friendly and stuff like that. Then he walks him over to the curb, and then Oscar proceeds to walk back to his car, minding his own business. Then we hear a crash, and obviously Oscar runs up, and we see the dog dead. So what it turns out is that there is no proof that actually happened with Oscar. There was actually just some time that was unallocated, that they just had no idea what happened to Oscar. But what Ryan did was he had to fill in that gap, and the way he filled it in was to an actual event that happened with his little brother. They used to have a dog, and then the little brother saw it get ran over, so he just threw it in there. And also, it was stated that the dog is symbolic as a pit bull for unjustly feared young black men. But another article pointed out that it is a foreshadowing of how Grant showed dignity to the dog but wasn't shown the same. Also, another key difference with the movie and how the article stated was Grant being punched in the face. Turned it out that from one angle, it appears the officer did really punch him, but his lawyer in the case stated that the officer was using an open hand to pull back Grant's head forward. But there's no mentioning of Grant becoming aggressive in the grocery store. As another point, the movie as well doesn't really mention how Oscar was convicted for a bunch of illegal crimes. For example, one of them being a possession of a handgun. Back to the scene in the station. Apparently one of Grant's friends named Jackie Bryson says he heard the officer say he was going to use a taser. Now, that was not shown in the movie for whatever reason. Maybe it was false. Anybody's guess, really. Another thing he hasn't mentioned about Grant's past was that in 2006, he fled from an officer, and then eventually he was tasered. Also, there was a scene in the movie where Oscar was with his girlfriend, and they were having a little talk, trying to get their life talked out, their problems. So Oscar throws out a bag of weed despite rent being due. Now, you don't really know if he threw out the bag of weed. Maybe he just went away with it to sell it. Who knows? We don't really know what exactly happened with it. And then lastly, there was a scene in the grocery store where Oscar used to work. He wanted his old job back, and you don't really know if he actually threatened the supervisor of the grocery store. He might have just been talking some stuff, but in the movie, it was portraying as, "You want to go outside with me?"